This episode has been brought to you by FlowState, the unlimited Webflow development service. Find out more at flowstate.dev. Okay, Webflow just announced a heck of a load of new features with their Summer Unleashed event, and I'm really excited about it. So we're going to go through each of the features and discuss them one by one and what I think about them. So they're broken up into 3 sections, making it more composable and reusable, control and collaboration, and finally, AI. So a new really nice quality of life feature is being able to update CMS content right from the canvas. Instead of having to go into the CMS panel, you can just double click a text element or whatever and it'll update it on the CMS backend. You can also add new items to the CMS right from the canvas. Now I'm interested to know how collaboration works because right now you can only either design or edit. You can't design at the same time. Do you both have to be designers? I'm not too sure, but really nice feature. The other really exciting feature is that they've extended their API capabilities so you can get live data, which is really cool. You can also filter and sort, which is amazing that you don't have to require it. There's no middleman or anything like that to filter and whatever with the data. And they've also upped the rate limits for some of the enterprise customers. So they start at 600, but presumably if you're paying more, you can get up to 1,000. Now we get into components, and they've finally released component slots. They're still in beta, so it's still probably maybe going to be buggy or there might be changes that happen, but component slots are in beta. This means that you can create a component with an empty area that anything can go in. So presumably you can put another component in there or just whatever element you want. So you can create layout components. It's a really interesting feature. Something I'm really excited about is that they now enable you to bring in component libraries, separate libraries that can be shared across multiple websites. This is going to be huge, especially for companies that are building websites under a brand and they have multiple microsites or all the rest of it. You can now share those components, and there's a great interface where if the source component gets updated, you can accept those changes and vice versa. It's a really cool feature. And these components still can have props as well. So even the child websites that are using these components, they still are able to update the content that goes in them, or if they use an example as a footer where it's always going to say the same, then you can choose not to use props at all. And by the looks of things, this is also variables like colors and spaces also get carried across with those design libraries. And also if the source component gets deleted, then the child websites can choose to make a copy of that component. So hopefully nothing is disturbed if a component just gets deleted from that library. And we've finally got the page builder mode, which is I'm particularly excited about. Basically, you can create page templates with a page slot, and then marketers can use pre-approved designed components and move them and create them and just add them to the page, which is a really cool thing. It just means that marketing teams don't get to mess around with the design, because in the beginning, we sold Webflow as this thing that you can always update the design, you can always make changes, it has all this flexibility, but when you hand it over to a client, they make a pig's ear of it. So at least this way, there's a level of control of like the designer has built the components and now you can choose to use them however and wherever that you want. This is a really cool feature. It's something I've been talking about for weeks, months now. Now I've said it before, but what I really want is component variation. So a marketer can say, have a panel component that just sort of changes a predefined layout or predefined settings of that component. I'm hoping that will be part of this page builder feature. And finally, we're all at the edge of our seat wondering what companies are going to do with AI, how they're going to implement it, and Webflow is no exception. So we heard a few months ago that Webflow purchased Intellimize, I think it was called. And so we got a quick demo of what they have been building. It's basically an analytics tool for marketers. It's also basically just a glorified version of Google Optimize where you can run A/B tests and it uses AI to kind of figure out what the best copy is or what the best imagery to use. And they can run tons and tons of tests in a crazy short amount of time. And basically they're going to roll that natively into Webflow. Users who use Intellimize like without Webflow, they're still able to do that, but to have it all baked into Webflow. This is going to be really interesting to see how the UI plays out, because this is really complex stuff. It's not really geared towards designers. It's more geared towards marketing people because they understand this world and whatever, but really interesting to see how this is going to play out. It's not clear exactly what's like available right now. Going to be rolling out basically over the next few months until the end of the year. I think we'll find out more at Webflow Conf, which I'm attending in London. I don't know where I'll be, but I've got my ticket to London. So if you're coming to London, do say hello to me and I'll be glad to shop with you and get to meet some of you guys. So Yeah, cheers for tuning in. Subscribe if you haven't already, because on this channel we talk all things Webflow and no code. And until next time, happy no coding.